brothers and sisters of the world.
It's cool having an introduction now. But yeah, here we are back again, end of another season, pushing however many years of the podcast now. We'll get something out about that soon. But yeah, to talk about the season now, we got big three here. We've got me, we've got Dave. What's up?
What's up?
And we
What's
got
up? What's up?
and we got Hristo rounding out the NBA representation. We have 2 out of 3 here.
At least the club and the team that I'm representing are playing in the conference finals. But
Not for long.
Leave it on.
Just-
Yeah, this is Serie A time. This is Serie A time.
yet another mistake, but Dave and his choosings in life. Let's say choices.
I don't choose my teams, man. My teams choose me, but I'm just loyal to them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, still the best team in the league. I mean, we suck, but the Garden is still the Garden, the mecca of basketball. Don't get me started, man. Let's talk football because I could go on and on in basketball too.
Well,
Cool.
I want to start with something that was said off air that I wanted to bring online. I'll let Dave handle that.
Well, I mean, as or a long time listeners should know, I've been a big fan of Rafael Leao and Hristo for some reason he's always taking exception to that, and he makes sure he trolls me when Leao was having his struggles and stuff. So I just wanted to ask him how he feels about the current Serie A MVP. You know, tell us, how do you feel, Hristo? Does he suck? Was I right? Do I know what I'm talking about? What's up?
I mean, it's arguably that you know what you're talking about because you've chosen a lot of players to represent that haven't been great, but Leao Schultz has been decent. I would say I'm not sure whether he deserved the trophy when you base it on the whole season, because I think Milan without Tomori and Magnan are basically nothing, if we're being honest. Him winning the MVP is solely based on him getting form in the past 2 months, let's say. I think Milan have been amazing this season. Even last season we spoke about them when they were in first place. Their team is still shit. Like, no one can deny that. Let's be honest. Like, I don't know. I'm just not convinced for them. But they won the Scudetto. That's the only thing that matters. As far as your choice goes, I mean, he was amazing in the past 2 months. Past 2-3 months, he was amazing. There's no denying that. I just think they could have done a better choice with choosing their players even better than they did, because I think Tomori and Magnan are the 2 players that I think are more valuable to Milan than Leao was throughout the season. In the past 2 months, arguably, but I think in the season as a whole, I think Magnan has been their best performer because he won the derby against us. He had so many chances that he saved. I can only praise him. Like, I cannot say a bad word about him. Saying
Well,
that,
I mean,
okay.
let me give you a little pushback. I personally I do agree that Magnan was probably Milan's best player this season. But when you look at football and you see goals and assists, a guy literally it looks like he's carrying them on his back because he's literally get the ball to Leao and see if you could make sure you switch him to get a one-on-one and it's over. So that's the kind of stuff that we saw from Lukaku last year at Inter, where we would pretty much try to isolate him and make sure he gets the ball while he's running at his defender and know that it's pretty much over. So you got to give him credit. Magnan is very important to Milan. Probably their most important player. I'll probably give you that. But in football, goals and assists were the most important thing. So that's why you have to give him that. When I know we were on this podcast, I know I was the main one saying it. Looking at the 5 matches that they had to play, I was like, there's no way that they're going to win all 5 of those matches. And if they do win it, we're going to clap and say congratulations. And that's what I'm doing right now because they did. And one of the main reasons that they did. If you look on the stat sheet, you're either gonna see a Leao goal or a Leao assist on each of those 5 matches. So that tells you that he's finally living up to the talent that we saw 2 years ago. That's what I personally saw, because I remember we were linked to him before we got Lukaku, and that's when I started really looking into him and getting to know him more. And I know, like, yo, this guy, he's legit. He was gonna be legit. So it kind of sucks, of course, because Milan won, but I do feel good as well that, okay, I saw this guy and he's growing to be what I thought he was going to be. Although it looks like they may not be able to keep a hold of him for the foreseeable future.
Fingers crossed on that, though, because he scored when it mattered. I think we all have to give credit to what Milan did down the stretch. I mean, they needed goals. There were games that were close, like the Lazio game. I know that wasn't a Leao goal; that was a Tonali goal. Which, I mean, he's been good for them down the stretch. But they got the goals when they needed, and we didn't get the goals that we needed around January, February, March, when everything was drying up. When it was 28 shots, no goals against teams like Genoa, we needed goals then, and no one stepped up. And when Milan needed goals, they had someone that stepped up, and that's the guy that won the MVP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very well said. I mean, those matches were literally where we could pinpoint that we missed Lukaku, because the system was just not clicking. We created chances most of the season at will, but there were those few matches where the system was not clicking, that either Blessing had figured us out with his pressing, or the players were out of form, something like that. But you just needed that one player able to create something, and we missed it. Which is why I'm also happy that the rumors for Dybala are intensifying, because although he may not be what he used to be, then I still think he's the kind of player that could create something out of nowhere when the things that we practice in practice and training were not working, or the manager figured us out. You just give him the ball and he creates a moment of magic. We missed that player, and that's what Leao was to Milan. And I think that's what ultimately was the difference in the Scudetto. Just having that player that when shit's not working, you just give it to them and hope they can make it happen. They had 2 of them on the same side, Leao and Hernandez. It's kind of infuriating as an Inter fan, because I know I've said it on this podcast. Watching their matches, I'm like, yo, they don't have a style. They don't have a set system. You don't know how they're creating their chances. It's literally they switch it to the right first to try to get the other team to switch to the right, to overload to the right, and then a quick switch to the left, and hopefully Leao is going to end up one-on-one, or Theo Hernandez one-on-one, and that's usually it, So kudos to them. I mean, it worked for them. They won the Scudetto, but as an Inter fan, it's like, yo, it's so easy the way they play. I thought that some teams would have figured them out, but kudos to them.
You see, I mean, over and over again, we see Serie A being a league which, being fast as a player is a cheat code. That's it. Just be fast. We saw Biabiani making a career out of him having no existing ability to play football, actually. I mean, he still made money while playing football. That's professional footballer.
And he played for the likes of Inter and Milan. So, he didn't get to play for Milan, but
he was fast. That's it.
That's all he had, yeah.
We see, like, Deulofeu succeeded in Serie A and Serie A only. Fast. Leao turning around the season by being fast. Theo Hernandez, amazing player, but also fast. Cheat code. You can go on, like Cuadrado, at 34, still a cheat code.
Yeah. Hakimi ate it up like last year, and we know as Inter fans, we could say it now. We know Hakimi had a lot of things that he needed to work out, but the fact that he had so much pace, sometimes he would be caught behind the ball because he missed his man, but he had so much pace to just catch up. We're like, okay, you know what? He covered for defensive mistakes because of that.
I'm the biggest proponent. Okay, I'm going.
Oh no, I was gonna say, is that what we need to look for this summer? Pace, but I know I also see in the chat a lot of Mercato talk, but I think we're gonna.
Oh yeah, let's touch on the comment. That's what we promised we were gonna do.
Yeah, I know we're
Just
gonna try to save the majority of transfer content for the next episode because this is really kind of like talking about the end of the season
Wrapping
and
up the
where
season.
we see Inter and where we see the rest of the league, all that. But we will touch
Mhm.
on we should touch on these a little bit.
Sorry.
But I'll let you go ahead, Hristo, and then we'll touch on
no,
those.
I just wanted to finish up on that by saying just invest in players such as him. We've seen like Molina and Udogi becoming the top three wingbacks of the league, like a season wonder. They're fast. Like we've seen time and time again, players like that succeed. And I have been the biggest proponent when it comes to
Lat Latsari.
I mean, it doesn't work out that. I mean, he's still a decent player, but I wanted to say just I'm the biggest proponent when it comes to like pace. I think being smart on the field and having actual abilities, even though you are slow, I think you can make a career out of yourself. And I stand by that in general. But I think Serie A as a league is dominated nowadays by fast players. We've seen year in year out that the league is dominated by those players. I think that's the thing that we should invest now. Like having pacey players and agile players help us a lot. Look at Çalhanoğlu, 12 assists, Barella, 11 assists, and they have been agile. Like I think agility and pace have been the key dominant factors over the past like 2-3 years. Lukaku last season, he was unstoppable. He was strong, but the pace made him unstoppable. That's it. Koulibaly, an amazing player. And talking about MVP, I think there's a lot of like confusion between the best player and MVP because like I've listened to a lot of podcasts in previous seasons about the NBA, let's say in particular, when they say Harden was the MVP, and uh, if the MVP was given as it was he should have won the MVP every single season because without him the Rockets were non-existing. Same with Serie A and Napoli. Without Koulibaly, Napoli is not a Champions League club. Let's be honest. Like they are seventh, eighth place with Juan Jesus and Rahmani. Come on, bro. Like there's the thing, and I think
Well, the
I
same
think
thing could
that
be applied to Leao. You know what I mean? Milan do not win the Scudetto without Leao, and that's why he's the MVP. You're talking about Napoli being a Champions League club. Well, we're talking about Scudetto talk. Milan don't win the Scudetto without Leao, and that's more important than being a Champions League club. I mean, the guy deserved it. In my opinion, I do agree. He made great points. I do agree. Like he didn't have a full season. For example, if we wanted to name a player of the season, that probably would be Brozovic to me, maybe, or even Magnan. If since Milan won it, Magnan's been consistent. Well, he missed some time, so we couldn't give it to him. So I'll say probably Brozovic has been the guy. Every time he's played, he's been top level. You could tell that he's one of the best players in the league. But the fact that Leao came alive in 2022 and went on this dominant run of form, and you could literally point to him and see why Milan were winning those matches. I see why they gave it to him. I'm not going to give him any pushback at all.
I'm not giving any pushback either. I'm just saying Milan won. It's only fair for a Milan player to win the trophy. If it was up to me, I would have given it to either Tomori and Magnan, and I stand by that. But Syria has made weird choices. Victor Osimhen just won the best attacker forward of the league.
U23, like what the hell?
Come on, bro.
I mean,
just want
I kind of understand how they gave those awards because I feel like they didn't want to concentrate it too much on the top teams because again, I'm not over here kissing Milan ass, but to me the best U23 player was probably Tonali because the kind of season that he's had. This is a guy that probably should get into the team of the season as far as midfielders. Well, maybe not, but close to it. But considering his age, to me was probably the best U23 player. Kalulu got a good shout too, but Kalulu only came on, I think, after Kayer's injury, so he doesn't have a big enough sample space. But Tonali, he came into the season hot, and he stayed hot and all of that, and he scored a lot of big goals down the stretch in the Scudetto winning campaign. So I don't see where the hell they get Osimhen from. And even if they wanted to give it to Osimhen or to a striker or whatever, I'll say even Vlahovic was better than Osimhen because Vlahovic is younger. Vlahovic is better than Osimhen, and the numbers prove it as well. So that one is just one of the things that everybody got to have a participation trophy. Since we can't give it to Koulibaly, we're just gonna give Osimhen the best U23 to make sure Napoli are represented. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I mean, when did Serie A didn't even start doing these awards till what, like 2-3 years ago? Like it's a very recent thing.
They did it exactly because Ronaldo was in the league and they needed to give him some kind of award. I promise you. That's when they started doing it.
I mean, we've gotten some winners out of those in the past few years.
No, for sure. Oh, and I mean, how dare we talk about that without talking about Brozo? I mean, Brozovic won the midfielder of the year. Of course, we wanted him to be MVP, but that's still enough recognition, like because he's not a guy that once you pull up his player card, you're gonna see amazing stats, goals, and assists or whatever. You're probably gonna see amazing running stats or recovery stats. But I'm glad that although he's missing those glamorous stats, that he still got his recognition. Because when you think about it, Milinkovic Savic just had 11 goals, 12 assists, something like that. Hakan just had 8 goals, 12 assists. So there are guys with amazing numbers that they could have given it to, and the fact that they picked Brozovic, despite him not having crazy numbers, I like that choice a lot. Maybe they wanted to represent Inter some way, but I'll take it.
It shows what he does for this team, and I mean what he does in this league. Serie A prides itself on being a tactical league, a thinking league. So it does make sense to give it to someone like Brozovic over someone with the flashy stats like a Milinkovic Savic or even Hakan. But with Brozovic winning that, is he also your player of the season as an Inter fan, like in the club?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Hristo, you want to go first, or are you still thinking?
No, I think I'm just thinking about the MVP award. If it was like Inter only, MVP is Brozovic, and that's it. Like without him, we've been worse than Verona was. Like
Yeah, he missed
unrecognizable.
he missed 3-4 games, and we dropped points in each and every single one of them, including Sao Paulo. Yeah, straight up, I agree with you. But I don't know, man. If I had to decide an MVP of the season for Inter, he would definitely be Croatian. It would be between Brozovic and Perisic, because Perisic went on some kind of run of form as well. He was pretty much matching Leao. It's like every match down the stretch you were seeing he was either scoring or assisting, and I know we made it a running joke that Gosens is never going to see the pitch and stuff like that, and he made that shit last for 2 months up until the season ended. He scored and got injured. So to me, it would be a toss-up. I would literally flip a coin between Perisic and Brozovic as my number 1, and then whoever doesn't win would be automatically my number 2, and then my number 3 would probably be Hakan as top 3 best players of the season for Inter. And Lautaro would need a good shout, but let's not forget that he was missing for about 2 months. So, yeah, that's my top 3 for players of the season. What do you think, Mikey? You sitting there asking all the questions. We want to know what you think too.
I mean, I'm good at asking questions. I'm not as good at answering questions. But for me, I think it's got to be Brozovic just because we saw what happened when he wasn't there. We didn't really see that with Perisic. I mean, credit to him. We didn't see that because his fitness is so great.
He never missed no time.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's made of rubber. I mean, I hope like, whatever happened with his calf in the last match. I mean, I hope it's nothing too serious. I know he's going to miss the Nations League with Croatia, which I mean, that's not. I'm not mad at that. The less games he plays until next season, the better.
The better.
But yeah, I guess it's got to be Brozovic, Perisic right there. I think if we'd have won the Scudetto, if we would have held on, if the Radu game wouldn't have happened, and if the only thing we remembered from that Bologna match was that insane goal from Perisic, which might have been my goal of the season, where he just dribbles 2-3 guys and then unleashes a rocket. If we would have won that game and won the Scudetto, I think it would have been him, and goals like that, and then his goals down the stretch would have been what we point to, the way that Leao's been pointed to.
Yeah, so, that second goal versus Juve too in the Copa final was class,
Yeah, that Copa final, I think that's going to be what I take out of the season. That's going to be my big memory. That was an all-time classic final for me.
For sure. I mean, and the way the Scudetto race ended, I guess that moment ended up being the pinnacle of our season anyway, you know. So I'm glad not only did we beat Milan handily on our way to win it, but we also did not lose it to Juve. Because imagine that shit. Imagine if we not won that Copa and then we still lost the Scudetto. I mean, we're still sad now, but we would have been depressed, you know. So
Yeah,
because the Super Copa was so far away, you know, it doesn't even nobody even cares about that. But at least we could literally say we won a Copa last week, 2 weeks ago, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah, and that's even more important because I think this summer would have been absolutely unbearable had Inter only taken the Super Copa. There would be calls for Inzaghi's head. There would be calls for even more
yeah,
players' heads than we're seeing right now. I see
yeah.
Emiliano says that Skriniar is MVP for him, which is also a great shout. I feel like he's just so consistently great that we don't even think about
Mhm.
him sometimes.
Yeah, no,
But
that's my boy for sure. I'll never deny Skriniar being in the MVP talk, but he did have some shaky moments towards the end of the season. Let's admit, he was committing some stupid fouls, you know, giving away dangerous free kicks, and he had a couple shaky moments. So, but other than that, yeah, I'll never give any pushback against Skriniar being an MVP.
yeah, for me, I think we really can nitpick Skriniar's performance this season, and if we do, I feel like he gets some pass because I feel like he was compensating for a little bit of regression from De Vrij, who
I agree.
he picked it up towards the end of the season, but I think part of that might have been because he wanted that Copa to finish off his Inter career
Mm,
and raise his worth back up, get some eyes back on him because we haven't heard
yeah.
solid links for him in months now. The links are now, of course, Bastoni, which I've seen the comments about.
Don't get.
That's been the hot topic recently, the past couple
Mhm.
days. Um,
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair to Skriniar, he's been shifted all across the back line this season, and he's done fairly well. So yeah, I was like you said, I was definitely nitpicking, but when I pointed out those couple shaky moments that he did have, but this is a guy that's a guy that we can definitely count on. Like this is a guarantee. This is probably the one guarantee we have on the team. We know he's gonna be a killer back there every match. You know.
yeah, Skriniar, bring in Bremer. I think that's going to be a great. That's going to make both
Yeah.
players much better. I think they're
Yeah.
going to help each other out a lot.
Yeah, don't tease me. Stop tempting me with a good time, Mikey. You already told me that we're just gonna do a review, and now you want to talk about Bremer. Don't get me
Hey,
started.
just a tease. We gotta keep everybody ready for the next episode. And if you're listening to this when that's out, just finish this before you go to that one. You'll get the whole shebang. But
I'm just looking at games played while talking about MVPs, and I've
Mhm.
seen that Skriniar, Lautaro, Brozovic, and Perisic have played the same amount of games for Inter this season. What's the number that you would guess that how many matches they have played in, whether subs or
is this the
participate?
league? Is this the
Yes,
league
the
or
league.
whole?
The league only. Um, I would say 30, 33, 34.
Mike,
Yeah, I was gonna say 34.
35 games out of 38 games.
That stayed under.
All
His
four of
price is
them.
right.
They've played 35 out of the 38 games, which it's been amazing,
No, that's
and
crazy.
like that's out of this world. I think the fitness level this season has been pretty amazing, and we lack something.
Yeah,
We
that's why.
lack the factor.
That's why I've always given a little pushback. Like, okay, you know what? I understand Pintus was the best in the world. He is the best in the world, and all that stuff, but I don't think we could look at our squad and see like we had a bunch of injuries or whatnot. Maybe there is that extra bit of fitness that you can have in the 90th minute or in the 85th minute that we saw with Real Madrid. Maybe that's where Pintus comes in. But I feel like whoever we replace him with or training guy, he's done a great job keeping our players fit and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean the only major injury was to an injury-prone player for us this season
Korea,
with
yeah,
Correa.
you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
who knows if even Pintos could have kept that guy fit? I mean, it's like Sensi, who
It's not
also
like
wasn't fit.
it's not like he revived Hazard and at Real Madrid. So
True, true. Yeah, there's just some guys that, yeah, I guess you just can't. Maybe their careers their bodies are telling them that's it. So that is what it is. I think we had very consistent, contributions from everybody, at least from an availability standpoint. I mean, we had parts of the season where our strikers weren't hitting it off and things like that, but I mean, everyone was always there. I think Darmian was, I think he had an injury at some point too, but I mean, injuries really weren't an issue this season. Like the thing we have to blame is just the finishing of this team. It's been something that even from the beginning of the season we all pointed out. We said that if Correa can score, that's going to be, that's going to have that's the Scudetto. But he decides he doesn't want to score until the last match of the season. So that is what it is, I guess. But to talk about transfers, can we even like say who was the best transfer in of the season? Like, is there someone that we can say was the best acquisition? What do you think, Hristo?
Syria or like Inter?
We're talking Inter. Yeah, Inter wise.
Let me see at all the transfers. Well, like while looking at the transfers, who won the best forward in the league? Was it Abraham, Timmy?
I thought
yeah,
it was Immobile.
yeah,
He
it
won the
was
Golden Boot.
no, it was Ciro. Ciro Immobile won the best
Okay,
striker.
then I'm wrong. Um,
No, but we're talking
uh,
about. He said we're talking about Inter transfers.
yeah,
If you're not
um,
if you're not ready, I could go.
you
Yeah,
can go on.
I guess it's only between two, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, to me, it has to be Dumfries, right? It's not like we had a whole bunch of players that we brought in, especially the way he's evolved throughout the season. He struggled initially. Some people wanted his head, and then it was his struggles were well documented. He struggled with the language at first. He was learning that, and then the system, and then we saw what happened towards the end. He was a leader in the squad. I remember the Empoli match when we're down 2-0. He was the one pretty much lifting the spirits and the guys that it's not over. Let's go get it. So yeah, that's the reason why he's a captain, and I'm sure he adds a lot to the squad. So to me, I'll probably say Dumfries, the signing of the season for Inter.
like any other answer is just wrong, right? Like,
Hakan?
I mean,
That's
good
mine.
shout, but
Oh,
I think replacing Hakimi has a burden of itself, and him Dumfries contributing 9 goals this season, 5 goals and 4 assists, is a huge task. Don't get me wrong.
no,
Like
no. I
the
mean,
quick,
I mean, personally, I gotta walk it back, bro. I forgot Hakan, bro. It's for me, it's definitely Hakan. I don't know why I didn't think about it. Maybe because we didn't pay for him. It's like a free transfer, but you can't deny that. As far as the new players that came to come in and contribute 8 goals, 12 assists, uh, those are amazing numbers, regardless of what people say, set pieces, no open play, whatever. I think Hakan for me. So I take it back. I do like Dumfries the way he's grown, but Hakan is undeniably to me the signing of the season for Inter. Sorry for cutting you off. So
no worries. Like Çalhanoğlu has scored 7 goals and assisted 12 times, which is amazing. And like both of those transfers were amazing. I think in of its own, I think both transfers were impeccable because getting Çalhanoğlu from a direct rival for on a free, it's an amazing deal. Especially him coming to replace Eriksson, like without any compensation on the same or like I think it was like a bigger or like the same salary around Eriksson's and Dumfries. I mean, it's a toss up. If I had to choose, I would have went with fuck me.
he doesn't know.
No?
Yeah, I
This,
mean,
the,
I guess it is a toss up if you can't figure it out.
I like Dumfries, but he was a slow comer. he was good at the end of the season, but at the beginning he was kind of unbearable, I would say. And Çalhanoğlu has been consistent throughout the season. Both of their impact has been amazing, but I'll go with Çalhanoğlu if I had to.
Yeah,
Mike?
and the thing, yeah, for me, it's also Çalhanoğlu. But the thing for me with him is, like, of course, the big thing anyone can say about him is, oh, he's set piece specialist. But I mean,
So
people
what? I
complain
mean,
when you don't have a set piece. So people will be like, "Oh yeah, your team is not effective on set pieces." But then you get a guy who specializes in it, and they're like, "Oh, that's all this guy does." And it's like, "Well, what do you want him to do?" And like, that's not all that he did this year. He really took a deeper position in the midfield. We've never seen him that far
yeah.
back. He's usually a trequartista, and now he's playing as a mezzala. Like,
Mhm.
it was an adjustment, and I feel like he was up for it. He also scored penalties that who else was going to score this year? I know Perisic had a couple, Lautaro had his misses, but Hakan had the best penalties out of anybody in the
Yeah.
team, and I mean had the balls to step up and take them against Milan and then celebrate. And I mean he's still living rent free in their heads from that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
And I
god.
mean, I'm absolutely gutted for him because you could tell that the guy came in, he bought into this to the position. You didn't have any issues about, because usually you hear like, oh, he's a attacking midfielder, he's not tracking back enough, he's being lazy. You heard none of that. He immediately bought into the position. You saw him getting back, tackling, last man tackles against Liverpool, for example, stuff like that. So he gave his heart and soul for the season, for the team to try to win the Scudetto. And I feel like he probably got let down by probably the strikers not being clinical enough and a couple mistakes in the back as well. But as far as he goes, I feel like he did more than his share to make sure he could win the Scudetto. So it kind of sucks that he wasn't able to get it.
yeah, the way that's just reduced to IFTV Twitter posts now is really a shame. Like
Yep.
he's a much better player than, I mean, the retweets are gonna say. So
Yeah.
it's a
Just
shame.
use that. He can use that as a fuel for next
That's feel
season.
for
And
next year. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, there has been so much
Bulletin board material.
bulletin board material. That's the word I was
bro,
looking. There's so
if,
much of that has been given out already.
I just hope that I just hope that we're petty. I'm not sure how Inzaghi is, but I know Conte is the type, or not Conte. Let's talk about Mourinho. I know Mourinho for sure would be the type to print shit out, make sure that it's in the locker room so they could see it
I
every
would have
day
said that.
and remember it. I would have done some shit like that. So I hope Inzaghi, like, he has his little picture of them saying to stick the copa up our asses, whatever else they say, making fun of Hakan, putting Hakan in a coffin and all that shit. All that needs to be collected, make a whole collage, and then we're gonna have it on the vision board all season. That's what I would do personally.
I think there's gonna be a response from this team, because the team that was best statistically in Serie A goals for and goals against was us, and we didn't win it. It was all, mistakes that could have been prevented, I believe. I think Inter lost the Scudetto more than Milan won it. I think Milan, credit to them, capitalized on every single bounce that went their way, and there were a lot of them. I mean, that's what it takes to win a Scudetto. I can't fault that, but I can point that out and say that, like, you're not going to get all those bounces next year. It's not going to be the same. You're not going to have Torreira or whoever it was passing it straight back to your team. You're not going to have another Lazio incident.
You saw the 3 goals they scored against Sassuolo. It's literally three same thing,
Identical.
like 3 identical goals, a mistake over dribbling and stuff like that. So it sucks. I mean, as an Inter fan, you tend to want to feel a certain way about Sassuolo, like, oh, you guys are throwing the match. But let's remember that we were in control of our destiny, and all we had to do
Absolutely.
was beat Bologna. So again, every time I want to respond to somebody trying to troll me or a Milan fan saying some dumb shit, I remember that we had it in our hands and we fumbled it. So the summer that we're about to endure, that's what we get. And hopefully we use it as fuel.
Bro,
Yeah,
not only that, I think it's a combination of factors that happened throughout the. Uh, Milan had a lot of injuries. I mean, a lot of injuries this season compared to us, I would say, to key players. I remember, Theo Hernandez missing games due to injury, due to red cards, due to accumulated yellow cards. He's missed 5 games this season. And if we missed either, like some of the fourth players that I mentioned that had played 35 games, if some of them was missing for 2 more games, let's say Brozovic, we would have finished fourth.
Yeah.
Don't let you mess up.
Yeah.
I think that's very important to mention because the season has gone by.
Very, very
we are
important.
we have been, we are all prisoners of the recency bias, and like in 2 months we'll see all the things that we are saying differently. I mean, the league starts in 2.5 months from now. That's fun.
No, I think this, like you said, is a very, very important point, and I'm glad you brought it up. And I want to piggyback off that a little bit. I think it's like as much as we love posting all those gifs of Beppe and Auxilio and giving them credit for their master classes, we could say that literally their lack of action in replacing Handanovic properly on time, and also the lack of action of getting Brozovic prop a functional replacement. That's what cost us the Scudetto, you know. But at the end of the day, listen, guys, we could sit there and point fingers. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just take the positives. But yeah, that was a very good point, Hristo. Like the players that we didn't have, like having if had we missed Brozovic for more matches, Milan would have won the Scudetto with a couple matches to spare easily.
Absolutely.
Let's not even talk about had we missed. Can you imagine had we missed Skriniar for an extended amount of time, or something like, or Handanovic even as bad as Handanovic has been? I don't know. But yeah, it blew up in our faces. I feel like the lesson's been learned. We were hoping that we could ride it till the wheels fall off, and the wheels fell off. Now we have Onana coming in, and I see that there's a lot of news about Aslani, which I really like, the young kid from Empoli. So it looks like we learned the lesson. The news that I'm hearing are replacement for Handanovic, which we already know, and backup for Brozovic. So hopefully we continue to strengthen the team that way. We don't take too big of a sacrifice, and then I think we'll be good, man.
If we're listening to the rumors, though, Bastoni is leaving the team, and no one's coming up front to replace Lukaku or Dzeko. Like that's a big deal. Like without a striker, a consistent striker, we're no good. Lautaro is not that striker. Don't get that wrong.
No, I agree.
Dybala has been injury prone. He's not solving that problem. We
I
need
agree.
we need someone big up front that is consistent with goal scoring. We miss that, and neither Aslani, Bremer, Onana, no one's gonna solve that. We need a striker.
I agree. No, it's I 100% agree. But the things being what they are, it's like we have Zeko under contract, and realistically, we're not going to be able to move him. And we have Correa as well under contract. Realistically,
That's why the
Hold on, hold
management
on.
is being paid millions of euros by season to fucking have a plan and not to sign players on a dumb contracts as they're signing Perisic now. 2 years, 5 million a season. That's a lot.
I mean, but he's earned that. That's something to me. That's an outlier. That's not something you do every year or to every 33-year-old or whatever. We cannot say anything about Perisic. We can't even mention his age because we've had this guy at the club for nearly a decade, and he's in better shape now.
He's been asked
never gets hurt.
for years, bro. He's been asked for years, and he plays when he needs to sign a contract. I'm eager. I want him to succeed. I don't wish fail upon anyone at Inter, but I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical about him earning 6 million a season and him playing out of his mind.
Is it 5 or 6?
He wants 6. That's the issue. We're at 5. We're stretched to 5, and he wants 6.
I think 5 plus some bonuses up to 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him 5. That's fine. If he wants 6, I mean, he can go to the Premier League. He can go wherever he wants to go. But I don't see that being a problem because look at the honestly, fitness on these Croatian guys. Look how long Modric has gone.
That's what I'm saying.
Brozovic has gone.
I would actually go to 6, but the way like my base salary would probably be 5, and then the 6 he would need to be reaching bonuses,
Cool.
goals, and assists, bonuses to get that 6. Now, if he reaches a certain amount of goals and assists, then shit, he deserves 6 fucking million.
I'm not
You know what I
even.
mean?
It's not even
At
about
this
the
point.
money. I think the same problem as Jaco. It's not about the money. You can give him 7 million a season, for example. Give him a 1 million plus. Don't get him to on a 2 year contract because next season he may be good, but we're talking about him being good in a year and a half from now,
We
which is
still
a
have his
stretch.
replacement already,
It-
though. Like he's still gonna
yeah,
have to compete with Gosens.
exactly.
Gosens
I
has
mean,
played
and
like 10. I don't know.
plus,
He,
is
he
it a 2-year deal that we're talking about, or I've seen 1+1? Is it a
I think it's 2 year deal.
I don't know, but no, guys, I don't know. Hristo, I can't see because we let's be honest, we have thanks to Perisic, we have not been able to see a full vision of what GoSense looks like and enter in the system. All right, we've seen flashes. So how about if this guy comes and he's average? So listen, we already know what we have. We have him right there. We don't have to go spend a transfer budget on him or whatever. If it's a matter of 500,000, that's the difference. I think we should work it out and keep him at the club. I mean, because
Just be
he's
wary.
earned that.
Just
I
be
think
wary.
Well, I mean, with all the other salaries that have been reduced, it doesn't bother me. I do get what you're saying. He could regress at any time, but so could anyone else in the club. To me, like it's a risk for anyone. I mean, we've seen it happen with Handanovic. It took this long to get a
Yeah.
replacement. We have Gosens here. That's already a replacement. That's competition. Perisic is going to know that he's going to have to.
To stay on top of his form if he wants to play. You know,
He's
and
still earning
listen,
the money though.
and yeah, I agree. And it's also a World Cup year, so Gosens is not going to be content to just sit there and be a spectator to Paris's good form. I think we lost Mikey, by the way. Oh, he's back. So yeah, it's a World Cup year. The guy's definitely going to want to play. So I'm sure Gosens is going to be busting his ass in the off season because, mind you, they didn't even call him for the Nations League. So that's motivation. He's in the gym right now. I promise you, ready to come for Paris's spot. So that's something that we're definitely going to benefit from, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was talking to a blank screen for a minute. I forgot my point, but yeah, I think I think Dave and I agree. I think we got some convincing to do with Hristo, but we'll see. It's a long summer too. I know we talked about some of the comments and everything, but or not comments, rumors, transfer rumors. We talked about that a little bit, but I feel like it's still early. We even just saw yesterday like some kind of mental warfare going on between journalists and Steven Zhang himself, where you had Padula and someone else, one of the other reporters reporting one thing. Then you had DiMarzio and like FC
Saying
Internews
no, yeah.
reporting two different things, and they were kind of going at each other. And then Zhang comes on and says something completely contrary to everyone. I mean, it's not too much. It was kind of a word salad, but
yeah.
I mean, I feel like that was kind of Zhang and management saying, "Look, like
I want to pick your brain about that.
You.
I want to pick your brain about, okay, this is what they were doing. Hold on, Hristo.
Mike, no. Just wait a second. Sorry. Like, please explain what Jung said because I didn't read the interview, and I think a lot of people may not have read the interview that are listening or just like brief summary.
Let me pull up some of the quotes.
See if you can pull up some quotes.
Yeah.
But I heard the whole thing. Thank God he did it in English. I didn't have to be reading subtitles or anything like that. Personally, let me say how I feel personally, because it was the main theme I got from the interview was we're trying to be more competitive than we are next year. So to me, exactly, that's why I'm saying I want to see what you guys have to say. Do you guys believe him? Do you guys how do you guys feel about that? Because if anything, if you were to say that this is a guy that we can believe, he never lies to the fans, I would say, after I heard Zhang, I'm confident we're getting Dybala, we're getting Bremer. We're not gonna make any major sales because he says he wants to be more competitive than he is this year. He's not saying anything about top 4 or whatever. He's talking about going back to win the Scudettos. That's the kind of stuff I wanted to hear, because last year around the same time, after we won the Scudetto, I was right here saying the same shit. Like, what's wrong with you? Because he was saying, oh, we want to make top four. That's top four's the goal. You guys remember that, right? I was like, yo, what? We just won the Scudetto and you're talking about top four. But now it's the actual reverse. We lost it and he's talking about going back to win it. So personally, I was encouraged by the message, but I want to see what you guys think. I mean, I know Hristo is a big non-trusting person. So you guys in the comments as well. What do you guys think?
Mike?
All right. Yeah, I can't find the comments. I wanted to. The Zhang comments. I mean, I can kind of paraphrase. I know he said that he wants the team to improve. He wants results to improve. And I mean, he didn't mention anything about sales or anything like that, but he was very specific in saying he wants the team to improve. He wants the club to improve. I do think that can happen and there still can be a sale, but I think this is more of a reassurance that, if there are sales, there are going to be, replacements, suitable replacements. There are going to be upgrades in parts of the pitch that we need upgrades. I think both can be true. The big gripe that I know I've pointed out with Suning a lot is, I mean, it's not also can be a positive, but they never show their hand. They're not the type to come out and do these types of interviews. Zhang has never done an interview like this where he's come out and talked about, the future of the team. They very much keep their cards close to their chest. They never, sometimes to the detriment of things, they never explain really what's going on. But I think if Zhang has the confidence to come out, even if it's softball questions to enter TV, if he has the balls to have this written up, to say this, to have it posted officially on the Inter website where you can read the whole transcription.
And it's there forever.
Yeah. And I mean, he put his face on it. He put his name and his face on it. So at this moment, I'm inclined to trust what he said. And I think it was all a big move where stories were given to all the journalists and they wanted to see what would run. And then Zhang came out and said what he said. I think it was kind of a move over the media who, love their Inter clicks. It's always Inter in crisis. It's always Inter selling. And you haven't heard any big, crocodile tears about Leao to PSG links, but you hear it with Inter. So I'm inclined to believe that Zhang is, says what he means. I've been wrong before. I was wrong this time last year. I said Conte could stay at Inter for 5 years last year. Where the fuck that got me? So, I've been wrong before, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt for now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. Before Hristo goes, because I see by the face where Hristo is gonna go. Look at the face.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that. I'm with you, Mike. Yeah, I'm going out on the limb and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna believe this guy. I'm gonna trust this guy, even if it comes to a point where, for example, we sell one of our players. I believe that he's gonna make some moves, or we're gonna make some moves to still end up improve the team, even if we make a sell. So if it ends up a situation where we just sell a couple of big players and we just have to replace them with the Zekos of the world and settle for the Koreas, then I will also support the enemy because I've been consistent. But who's that? Is that yours still?
No.
The feedback, yeah, I heard it too.
Yeah, he definitely loses a supporter in me if after he comes out like that and talks about he wants to improve the team, he wants to be more competitive, the kind of stuff you want to hear as a fan. No mentions of sacrifices or difficulties or whatever. And rumors are coming around saying that we had a possible buyer and they want to keep Inter. They have something up their sleeves. We also hear news about how shit is getting better for them in China. So hopefully we can get back to maybe 4 or 5 years ago when they were just creating fake sponsors to inject money into the club, like sponsor for this, sponsor for that, sponsor for training kits, sponsor for training ground from China out of nowhere. And that's how they injected all those funds into the club that permitted us to go and spend 85 mil on Lukaku and 40 mil on Barella the same summer. People don't forget that. Everybody want to be like, oh, swooning out, let's sell. But they don't remember the sacrifices that they made for us as well. So let me just wrap it up. They have a supporter in me up until now. Now, if those words that came out very positive, if he turns around and does the opposite in the summer, then I'm swooning out.
Yeah, yeah, I think they get the benefit for the past, what we've seen, not last summer, notwithstanding, because that was an actual crisis. That was Suning being in with Evergrande, who went under. Um, just everything pandemic wise. The only thing I worry about is the pressure still being put on by the Chinese government because they really don't want
Foreign
Chinese
assets.
ownership of clubs abroad, and they
Mhm.
seem to have really just kind of given up on their football project as a whole. I know they really wanted the Chinese Super League to be something, then
Mhm.
they kind of have backed off on that. You don't see the sport interest right now out of that part of the world, so that's my biggest worry. But if we still have the best management in the league, we still have the biggest support in the league, so ticket sales are still there. I still want to see what comes out of the summer. I think it still can be positive.
I agree. And another point that you made, Mikey, like they are always on our backs, but no mention of Kessier pretty much just walking for free after a Scudetto, and Leao pretty much asking for 7 million, and he's probably not. He's probably gonna do the same next summer if they don't figure anything out or sell him. But we'll see, man. I feel like it's not. There were even talks of possible Milan dynasty because they have all those young phenoms. I can't wait for next season, man. But I know we don't want to go off too long or sound like haters. They won it, so kudos to them. We'll see them next season.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's hit a couple of these comments and then we can get out of here. I know Inter legend Jose Mourinho's in a final right now. A lot of people have their eyes on that. I kind of want to see what happens there too. But
Yeah.
let's see, what do we have going on?
Ooh, future Hendrix. He. That's a comment. That's a comment
First,
that I'm not sure if you saw my tweet. That's like the third comment from the top.
oh yeah,
I'm not. I'm not sure if he saw my tweet or if it's just his idea as well.
No.
That's something that we could discuss further. And in my opinion, I'll just say it real quick. Um, if we see DeMarco be able to function there as a small guy, Gosens is much bigger than DeMarco, much stronger, good in the air. He's a better defender, and he would also offer those overlapping runs that Inzaghi likes from his left center backs. So I feel like it would make sense, and it would also solve the issue that we have with Perisic and Gosens having two quality players, and one of them is not playing. That's just something that pretty much came up to my head randomly, and I've seen a couple people mention it here and there, but I hope it definitely catches heat, and I think it can work. I definitely think it can work.
I just for anyone listening, it's on streaming. We're talking about converting Gosens to a left center back and putting him in place of Bastoni should he leave. I can see it. It makes a lot of sense, but I still think Gosens has a lot to give at wingback. Depending, I guess, on how his hamstring comes back and all. I mean, that was a pretty serious injury, and I think he was just barely getting back up to speed when the season ended.
Yeah,
So
and also like future Hendrix said, if we have Skriniar and Bremer, it's like we could afford to have the left center back pretty much be a guy always up the pitch,
it's also
But
true.
it's fantasy ball we doing. We love doing stuff like that. I love Mercado season, man. Except for the meltdowns, I love the endless possibilities of we might get this player and do that. I live for stuff like that.
Let's see what else we got. We got some. Emiliano said that Skriniar was his MVP. I think I got to that.
We'll talk about
Hristo's
that. Yeah.
got a new laundry list of things he wants from us. He also
Oh,
said
oh,
that
you mean Lord Figo?
yeah, Figo. I think I said Hristo. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's also said that Radu and the Strikers sold him out. Yeah, that's pretty much the season. Let's see, we got a question about the leaked home and away jerseys from Benjamin. I like the away jerseys. The home jerseys look like something from the Tour de France to me, but the away
I like
jerseys, I think they're all right.
I like them both actually. Personally, I've been the guy that this season's jersey is the kind of jersey I like. I like a different take of our Nerazzurri colors, not the traditional stripes. But I know most Inter fans, from what I've seen on Twitter, that's what they like. They like the solid black, blue stripes, uh, badge, and all that stuff. So that's what we're getting. We're going back to kind of a retro look. It looks like it could be a good one. And the away one, I love it as well, especially us, we're the brothers of the world. We have the map of the world on it and stuff like that. It pretty much goes back to our history, what we stand for as a club, and we have Italy right there where we are with the badge. So that's pretty clever, whoever made it. So I like both so far. And the color of the third one is supposed to be black and yellow and blue. So it's gonna be a funny jersey too. So
Yeah, they made the away jersey specifically for us, so appreciate
brothers of the
that
world.
one.
Shout out, Inter.
Let's see. Benjamin had another question. Do you think if Bologna was played as originally scheduled, we would have won the Scudetto?
Yes.
Hard to say. I think I generally gravitate towards yes because form was starting to wane then. That was like the 6th of January. Form was kind of starting to wane. I remember the match before Christmas where 1-0 against Torino, really kind of struggling through that one, getting the goal from Dumfries. That was where I felt like the team started to get figured out. But I think they could have won it there and then because Handanovic would have been there.
Let's just call it what it is, okay? My answer is twofold. First of all, the day the match was supposed to take place, we showed up. They didn't do the protocols that they needed to. They didn't alert the league or whatever. So by the rules, that should have been a 3-0 by us. Okay, let's call it what it is, right? By the rules. Okay, we understood. I personally understand why they didn't give it to us even after our appeal, because we were in a close Scudetto race and they wanted to avoid the controversy of doing stuff like that. But by the rules, the fact that we showed up and they didn't file whatever paperwork they needed to file to the league explaining why they didn't show up, that should have been a forfeit by them. Okay, furthermore, if we take that even further, let's say we had played the match on the day, right? They were in the worst form that they were in the season. So I feel like we definitely would have been able to win. So yeah, to answer the question, yeah, I'm not complaining about it, but to answer that question honestly, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think it's fair to have a gripe, but also you should be beating Bologna. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is if you want to win a Scudetto. So that
for sure. If you know for sure you beat Bologna and you back to the top, there's no excuse to not beat Bologna.
Absolutely, I think we didn't win. We didn't lose the Scudetto in that match. We lost the Scudetto when we were 6-7 points ahead of the second place Milan and Napoli, and we didn't manage to win more than one match in 2.5 months period in between the end of January and March. So we would have won the league, but that's not Rado's mistake, not a factor in the season. Win those matches against Genoa, who had given up on their lives and season in December, you win the league. Don't lose to Milan, just draw, and there's a lot of difference. Because Milan would have needed just to draw on a match in the last like 5-6 matches, and that's a completely different mentality and mindset. But that's just what ifs. I think our season, our Scudetto was lost in the period when we didn't had the ability to win more than one match in 2 months.
Ian also chiming in from his vacation, missing him out here, but said that Hakan had to be the best transfer from our discussion earlier. Big game player. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. Benjamin also asked, do you think Hakan did better than Eriksson? I mean, on the season, statistically, yes. As a pure player, I think we would have been a little better with Eriksson, but I don't think he would have put up the numbers Hakan did.
Yeah, I agree. And Eriksson is just not as dynamic as Hakan is either. I don't think we would have seen Eriksson running back as much and getting tackles in and stuff like that. That's not his style. He would have been there and try to get a leg in and stuff like that. But we saw Hakan sliding tackle and stuff like that. I don't think Eriksson was ever that guy. So I feel like Hakan was a better fit, and he did better.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. That seems to be all the comments.
All right.
Anybody have anything else?
The next episode we get to play fantasy ball Mercado. I'm gonna have my 10-4 hat on ready.
we're gonna have. I'm gonna get a board. I'm gonna put it right here, and we're gonna have all the faces. We're gonna have the red yarn. We're gonna be going all over the place. It's gonna be fun.
Let's do it.
3 years of Brothers of the World next episode, by the way.
Oh yeah, we also have to. Yeah, we got to do a special. We got to do something
Ooh.
for that. We got
We gotta have a special guest or something.
Yeah. We'll talk around. We'll see what we can get done. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a fun summer. Looking forward to it. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in to us even after the season. I know it feels good to not have to worry about a match for the next few weeks. So I'm gonna enjoy that. I hope everyone else, tries to relax a little bit mentally from the grind that is trying to support a football team. So yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll see you all in the next one. Oh wait, let me play us out right here. I always forget that we still have a
Like some
Hristo's
sort.
gonna fire you,
now.
man.
Gotta get it out.
Hristo's gonna fire you.
Brothers and sisters of the world.